everyone. Greetings to each and every one of you signed on to SoulFuel. This is yours truly, Cyril Uruwei. This is a new and exciting show every Sunday at 4 p.m. It's now 4 p.m. Belize time, so I want to thank each and every one of you tuned in this evening. Consider this a privilege to be here this evening with us, because you will be able to boast about when this SoulFuel show started with Cyril Uruwei and friends. This is where we come and relax, we come and inspire each other. I will open the phone lines for some of you who might want to share a testimony. Some of you who are pastors, you might want to share a word. A little bit of everything for everybody. This evening, I'll be joined by my brother, my friend. I'll keep his name secret for now, even though some of you already know who it is. But we're going to have a wonderful time this evening, man. Most of you, when you see my video, it's more about politics, putting things in place, putting somebody, correcting someone, or trying to fix an issue, fix a problem. Well, on Sundays, 4 p.m., SoulFuel, Obafo TV, we're not going to be talking about any of that, all right? And I will depend on each and every one of you to hold me accountable and say, Uruwei, Cyril, Kingg Uruwei, we're not to talk about politics today, all right? So that's the part of your responsibility this evening. As mentioned, this evening is going to be very inspiring, inspirational. Today is about resilience. Today's guest is Dr. Charlse Castillo, a retired Army veteran, licensed counselor, life coach, and author of The Resilient Mind. He's going to share tools and stories to help us all strengthen resilience and thrive. All right, this is a very important topic we need in today's day, and I will touch a little bit on some of the things that have been happening in Dangriga without addressing the negative aspects of these issues, which is quite hard. But that's why I have here this evening with me Dr. Charlse Castillo. Dr. Charlse, I want to thank you, my brother, for joining me this evening. We made an attempt last week, and for some reason it never happened. But here we are this evening, Sunday, September 14th, and we're going to be talking about strengthening our resilience. My brother, kindly give me a brief introduction of yourself, just for those who don't know you. Give me the Reader's Digest.
All right. I thank you for the invite. Thank you for having me here. I don't want nobody to feel jealous about my big arms. I didn't wear this shirt because I'm showing off, right? My resilience. I'm not wearing this shirt to show off my resilience and how big my pecs are, right? I'm showing it because I want y'all to understand faith over fear. Okay?
That's right.
Faith over fear is something that we have to believe in order to get through whatever it is that we're going through, which help us to be resilient. Okay? So don't worry about the pecs. Just focus on the words.
I love the icebreaker. I give you a 98% on that one, even though I don't have any reason to subtract the 2 points.
Serene, right?
Okay.
All right. Thank you for the invite. Again, I'm Dr. Charlse. I'm the author of The Resilient Mind. As Uruwei, the only thing I would correct, which it's often overlooked, but it's very necessary for me to correct. I'm not only a life coach, I'm an international life coach. So what does that mean? That means I can work with other people all over the world. That's the difference that make me work with people here in the United States versus working with people all over the world, which I did that because I'm a product of Belize, right? Mm-hmm. I came from Belize. I am resilient because of Belize, okay? And not only because of Belize, but also because of our ancestors. And so when we talk about this conversation about resilient, so long as you're a Garifuna, and no matter what culture you are, I want you to know that you're very resilient. And that's what I want us to focus on the conversation of what makes us resilient, what makes me an expert in resilience, right? And we'll talk about that. Like they say, oh, you got a degree, you got a doctorate. I wrote my degree, my dissertation on resilience, but that's not what makes me an expert. What makes me an expert in resilience is the same thing that makes Uruwei an expert in resilience. Is the same thing that makes our audience an expert in resilience. Is that because you've been through where you are now is a product of you coming through some of the obstacles that you've been through. And that's what
Absolutely.
resilience is all about. Right? So yeah, that's what I'd like to start out with by sharing that we're all resilient, and there's a cultural aspect to our resilience, and we shouldn't forget that. And not only should we not forget it, we should not take it for granted, which sometimes I think we do.
No, you're absolutely right. And I want to just acknowledge our viewers real quickly as we get started. This is a perfect opportunity for this because I want to ask each and every one of you signed on this evening. Ms. Joyce Cayetano, good afternoon, my dear sister and friend. Zita Francisco, Philberto Kowa, Lenny G. Flowers, Jennifer Kanarki. We have some regulars. I have to call some of my regulars. Vina Moisha McCoy Roberts, Magdalena Naz, Alicia P. Cod, John Showtime. I like the Showtime, Roy Tillett. Greetings to each and every one of you. If I didn't call your name, pardon me. As we progress, I will acknowledge more of you. I want to ask you guys to please share the live. We're going to have a great time this evening with Dr. Charles. We have a lot to talk about. So first thing first, whenever I talk about any topic, I like to flesh out, dissect the actual word or title that we're dealing with. And this evening, Dr. Charles, we're going to be talking about resilient. What is a resilient mind? How do you maintain resilience throughout all those ups and downs? First and foremost, define in your own term resilience for me. Give me the grassroots, the dumb it down for me, elementary.
All right. So resilience in about a few words is about the ability to find whatever you need to find to bounce back from whatever obstacle have knocked you down. Right? So resilience isn't about not having challenges. It's about how you come through those challenges. And one of my, I usually wear my company shirt, which is the mental resilience counseling, because I want people to understand is I have a phoenix as my logo. And why I have the phoenix as my logo is because anybody who knows anything about the phoenix is you can beat down a phoenix and it can fall, but you will not kill a phoenix. But the beautiful thing about a phoenix, after it falls, it comes back, and it comes back even stronger. So if there's one thing I want our audience to listen to and to believe in, is that whenever you fall, don't focus on the fall. Focus on how strong you're going to be, probably because of the fall, and what is going to get you to where you need to get to be successful in whatever it is you want to do. So resilience is about bouncing back. Just finding a way to bounce back, finding a way to hold on while you're going through those bad times, and then, because nothing lasts forever. So resilience tells me that, hey, if I just hold on just for a second longer, I will bounce back. And not only will I bounce back, but I'll bounce back even stronger.
I love that. I love that. And you know what, Dr. Charles, what I love about this show, what I haven't announced as yet, because you and I, we made an attempt to start last week and we had glitches, right? And we were just behind the scenes chuckling about it. And that in and of itself speaks of how resilient we've become, how resilient we are, and how it is important to maintain that attitude, right? But while I'm doing this, I want to call on my dear sister, Miss Joyce Cayetano. I want to challenge you, Miss Joyce. We're talking about resilience. So I want to ask you to pull up a scripture for me that defines or express a resilient mind, all right? I'm asking you, are the call you out right now and probably catch you off guard, Miss Joyce, but I'll depend on you for this one. So, next question, Dr. Charles. You talk about resilience, having that strength to pick yourself up, and I like the fact that you use the phoenix as part of your logo or as your logo, because no matter how, I don't want to. I was gonna say how low you go, and we could even say how low. But no matter how hard life punches you and beats you and just crush you to the ground, um, I like the common saying where I think that Bob Marley said, where he say, "Where there is life, there is hope," right? How do you? This is my. This is a lot of people's struggle, right? And this is what I get asked a lot. When you are in a position where you have limited access to basic needs, to basic essentials, when your children are going to school, they don't have shoes, they don't have the basic needs, right? Some don't even have a good breakfast. How do you even think and keep in your mind that you got to be resilient, that you have to maintain a resilient mind? And how do you go about doing that?
All right. So you bring up a good point, and the word is hope, right? So when you think about resilience, I think you have to also like understand the definition of hope, because hope is the thing that will get you through whatever you get through in order for you to get to wherever you need to get to, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
don't take it for granted, right? Resilience and hope. We had this conversation after we couldn't make it last week, and I told you,
Mm-hmm.
last week was not meant to be, because if it was, it would be. But
Right.
there were obstacles in the way, but that didn't deter us from saying, okay, all right, we tried, we did our best to try to do it this week, but it didn't work. But we're not gonna stop there. We're gonna come back next week, and we're gonna come back even better. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
better than we would have been this week, because it gave us another week for us to prepare to give the audience the the words and the the light that they need to understand of what
Mm-hmm.
resilience is. You cannot have resilience without having hope.
Yeah.
Once your hope is out, right? And that's why, and I don't want to talk about anything negative, but we do need to understand a person commits suicide because they lose hope. Once
Yeah.
you're hopeless, there is nothing for you to think of that you can hold on to. And you said the only thing that I have left is for me to end this pain, this suffering, and all these different things. So you cannot have resilience without having hope. So remember that. All right. And so we had hope from last week. And again, I'm going to keep on tying it into, we should have had this conversation last week, but this
Mm-hmm.
conversation was not meant to happen last week. This conversation was meant to happen this week because it is happening now. And what resilience tells us is that, look, I just need to get through this moment to get to the next moment. And that's all resilience is, right? Holding
Mm-hmm.
on to hope that the next moment will come, so long as I can hold on in this moment to get to the next moment.
Give me an example of when you had no choice but to be resilient.
Oh man, let me look into my memory decks, right? So as you mentioned, I'm a retired United States Army officer. I'm a disabled vet, right? And so I'll just talk about my my training, my military training. So I was
Mm-hmm.
enlisted, for those who have knowledge about the military. So the military is broken down into two main branches: enlisted. mm, 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 mm.
Am I? Are we
Yeah.
good,
Oh,
Doctor?
did you lose me? Oh, I thought I lost you.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. I'm here. I'm
Enlisted.
here.
Okay, my bad. Enlisted versus officer. So I started my career in the military on the enlisted side. I was a private. I went to basic training, and through basic training, I had to be strong. I had to hold on to when my feet was hurting, when I was training through snow. I tell my kids all the time and they laugh at me because they don't believe me. Like I slept on ice, right? During training, right? And I could have given up and I'm like, hey, the body's not made to sleep through on ice. Like, what am I doing? But I had a bigger purpose. And that's something else that I want you to tie your resilience to. And that's the hope that we're talking about. Understand your
Mm-hmm.
purpose so that you can hold on to that purpose when you're going through whatever you're going through, because that's the resilience that will push you through. So when I went through that, I'm like, man, I grew up in New York, right? I grew up in Brooklyn. I mean, I've seen the cold, but I've never had to sleep on ice, right?
Yeah.
But I had to tell my mind that okay, this too shall pass, right? We
Mm-hmm.
use biblical verses, right? And so I was able to hold on and say, okay, yeah. But look what that holding on to that moment has done for me. I'm able to have houses, right? I'm able to have houses around the world. I'm able to have a whole bunch of different blessings because I held on to the hope that things will get better. Yeah, I'm sleeping on ice today, but I'll sleep on that comfortable bed tomorrow. That's what resilience is. And that's what got me through that moment. Yes.
That is beautiful, man, and thank you for it. I want to share a scripture passage here that my dear sister, Miss Joyce Cayetano, has so kindly shared with us based on my request. So this is Isaiah 41, verse 10. We're talking about resilience. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Man, that is beautiful, Miss Joyce. Thank you for that. Dr. Charles, what have you to say? Let me read it again. It says, "Do not fear, for I am with you." Let me put it on the screen because I love this. I love this verse. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. You notice it doesn't just say with my righteous hand, but with my righteous right hand. There is more emphasis on that. Just a little digression, slightly digression. How do you feel? What's your takeaway from that passage?
Yeah, so I'm a spiritual person. I don't go into religion, but what taps into me from looking at those words is the word fear. And if you look at my again, right? Faith over fear. Faith will conquer fear. You just have to give it a chance, right? And so for me, a lot of people don't know that I'm afraid of flying, right?
Oh
I'm
wow.
afraid of flying. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. And they don't know that because they see me. I've been to different parts of the world. I've been to over like 40 countries. Right? So you said what but if you're afraid of flying, like how do you get to those places? It's because of my faith. My
Mm-hmm.
faith, right? I have faith that I will be okay. And so I let my faith conquer my fear in order to enjoy the things that I like doing. So when I look at that passage, you know, I say, hey, fear will happen. We all have fear. But what we need to do is we need to make sure that our fear don't hold us back, right? We need to make sure that our fear fuels us because our faith will take us wherever we want to go. And again, fear, faith kills fear, and resilience come from killing the fear that you have because of your faith.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that explanation. I want to say good evening to my brother and dear friend, my uncle Eric Castillo. Greetings, my brother. Um, we're talking about resilience, having a resilient mind. I'm here talking with Dr. Charles Castillo. Dr. Charles is a retired Army veteran. He's a licensed counselor, life coach, and author of The Resilient Mind. And he's here with us to share some stories, to share tools so that we could be strengthened and just maintain having a resilient mind. Now, Dr. Charles, let's bump it up a notch in terms of where the rubber meets the road. Now, it's easy for some of us to say, have a resilient mind, be resilient, just know that all these troubles, these tribulations, these trials that you're going through, these sleepless nights, know that it will be over. Just hold on to hope. For some of us who have been there and have these experiences where life just come and beat us down, but we were resilient. Now, for others from the outside looking in, saying like, yeah, all that sounds beautiful, have a resilient mind. But when the rubber meets the road, how do I really even start to even entertain the thought of having a resilient mind? What would you say to that?
So I would say twofolds, but more so. So I believe in a circle of support. And we always talk about a community, right? So sometimes when we see others going through things, that's when we can come in as a community to embrace that person, to let that person know, like, hey, we got you. While you going through whatever, we have you. And we're not going to shush about you. We're not going to talk about you. We're not going to judge you. We're just here to give you a helping hand just for you to get through this moment. So I think it's incumbent upon all of us to play a part when somebody is going through something. Because like I mentioned in my book, The Resilient Mind, I said mental struggle is another silent killer. Yeah, we talk about diabetes, right? We talk about high blood pressure. We talk about all these different physical ailments that we go through, but a lot of times we misunderstand how mental struggle is another silent killer. And how can we help our brother and sister go through some of the things that they're going through? I make sure that whenever I pass by somebody, I said, "Hi, have a good day," right? Or
Mm-hmm.
I say, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you know, God loves you." You don't
Right.
know the difference that that could make in the life of somebody. So when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to resilience, it's not just about the person that need resilience. It's also about the community offering a hope of resilience and saying, "Hey, I got you. Come talk to me. I'll be there for you." So it's more than a one-way street. It's a multiple lane street.
No, that's beautiful, and I think that's a position that most of us might not even think about. And what I mean is this: it's important that you talk about community, right? This saying could be beat up because we use it a lot, but we don't quite practice it. Where we say it takes a village to raise a child. So all of us were responsible to somewhat create a culture of resilience, right? And that in and of itself will make it easier for the individual, or for each individual to hold on to that hope. That's what I hear from you. Am I correct in my interpretation?
Yes, definitely. Because again, my dad, something he taught me a long time ago, and I didn't understand the importance of what he shared with me when he first told me. He said, "No man is an island," right? And I didn't understand what he meant when he first told
Mm-hmm.
me that, but he repeated that to me several times throughout my life. And it was only when I was going through different things and I needed to hold on to somebody, right, to depend on somebody, when I was like, yeah, I can't do this by myself. But I had to be honest with myself, right? And I had to be honest with those who were lending their hands and say, look, I am here. I am my brother and sister's keeper, right? So that's what we need to understand. I mean, do you know we have more that unites us than divides us? But the problem is we focus on more on what divides us than unite us, right? You cut me, you cut anyone, like my great cousin Eric Castillo, you see red, you see blood,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what. And sometimes you see right now people are searching for blood to help other people. They don't have to know that individual that they need help, that needs help.
Mm-hmm.
If they have the blood and they give, they helping that person. So we have to understand that we need a circle of support. We are no good just by ourselves. All right. What we need to be careful of, however, there's a caveat that comes with that, is the people we trust to be a part of our circle of support, right? Because those that we trust can be the ones that bring us down even more because we believed in them, but they didn't believe in us. So you have to do assessment and you have to be careful, but we need each other, right? We cannot
Mm-hmm.
get to where we need to get to by ourselves. We can only get but so far. So when we need to be resilient, we need to understand that sometimes I need to call on you, Uruwei. Hey, bro, like I'm going through something. I remember when I first approached you, right? Like
Yeah.
last year, I approached you because I saw the message that you had on social media saying, "Look, I'm going through certain things." That's why I approach you. I'm like, "Hey, I'm a doctor. I'm a I'm a psychologist, and I'm reaching out and I'm letting myself be available to you if and when you need it." I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
remember that, right? It was
No,
right
I
at
remember.
Tuwani.
I
Right.
remember.
And I said, yo, I saw your stuff, and that's
Yeah,
what we
we
need to
we
do
we
sometimes.
talked about
Yeah.
collaborating from a very
Yeah.
long time, and
Right.
now it's just happening. That's over a year actually, or maybe two.
Yeah, it's over a year. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what we need. Sometimes others need to approach us like, hey, you look down, right? That you're not usually down. Is everything
You
okay?
know, before I go to break, I just want to read this real quick from Mr. Eric Castillo, and I will have a request of you too, my brother, just as I've requested Miss Joyce to send me a scripture. Mr. Castillo, we're talking about having a resilient mind, and he said here, we are as strong as our weakest link. I'm going to expound on that in just a bit, but um, this again, folks, this is Soul Fuel. This is a new show for those of you sign on who just decide on say Obafo TV live. So we just a jump on. Just in case you're not aware, this is a new show that I'm hosting every Sunday. It's about inspirations, it's about motivation, it's about us just fueling each other, just to go through this upcoming week again. So again, the name of the show is Soul Fuel, and I'll come on live every 4 p.m. on Sunday evening. I'll have different guests, people that will inspire us, strengthen us, from the grassroots to those in higher places in life. So, Mr. Castillo, you said we are as strong as our weakest link. That's right. A chain is as strong as its weakest link. Because if you have a chain that is, and each link is just holding on to each other, man, you have a very strong chain. But you have just one of those links that might open up, and there you go. It's no longer a chain. It's no longer reliable. You can no longer wear it on your neck. You have to the hinks back it bout, or you eventually lose it, and eventually it falls apart completely. So thank you for that, my brother Eric Castillo. Back to you, brother Charles. Having a resilient mind. Now, while this episode is more to talk about a resilient mind, I want to take a quick lean over to to your book. How When did you come up with this idea, this spark that what? I need to write a book about a resilient mind. Or I'm guessing maybe you started writing, you get through all the pages, all the chapters, and then later on you say, you know what? This is the title of the book. So it's a twofold question. What reason gave you that, move to say, I'm going to write this book? And why a resilient mind? Did you think about it before writing the book, or did you just come up with the name after the book was written?
So I'll answer that question with explaining the conscious versus the subconscious mind. So I might have came up with that book like when I came out the womb, right? Because what I've been through from since I was born has made me resilient. But having said that, so over the years, this book has taken me years to write, right? And it just showed me that I beat myself up probably just like so many people. I beat myself. I'm like, oh man, I'm nobody. I mean, I heard that I wasn't gonna amount to anything. I heard that by the time you're 18, you're gonna be in jail. And so, like when I look back and I reflected, I'm like, look at where I am, despite what some people hoped for me and said that I would be and where I would be. And I'm like, I've been resilient. But not only have I been resilient, I'm sure anybody that reads this book can can relate. So I wrote the Resilient Mind, not so much for my story and not so much for what I've been through, but to remind anybody that reads the book that they too have been resilient. And I decided as a therapist, when I have my sessions, my main job, and I appreciate you talking about hope. My main job is to provide hope for those who, at the time when I start with them, some of them are hopeless, right? And so, how do you defeat hope? You give them something to hang on to. And that's what resilience is. So I decided to put this book, my many experiences of having to be resilient, the many experiences of others that I know that had to be resilient. And so I put it in and I decided I'm a therapist, right? And so I decided, like, hey, some people cannot afford to see a therapist. Some people don't even want to see a therapist. Some people need to see a therapist, but they don't even know that they need to see a therapist. So I decided to write The Resilient Mind in order to put some tools into a book that they can use. And hopefully, when they see, like, hey, these tools are good, but I need a little bit more. And so I wrote The Resilient Mind to break the stigma of mental health care, of things that we need. And I talked about the silent killer. And so that's why I wrote The Resilient Mind, because the resilient mind is about you, again, whoever you are, so long as you're breathing on this earth, you have been resilient. And I wanted to remind people that not only have they been resilient, that they are resilient and they still can be resilient moving into the future. They just got to see, like, hey, you know what? Man, I made it through that. Man, that was a hard time. But that's what resilience is. So that's why I wrote the Resilient Mind, right?
That's amazing. I want to read some of the comments. We have Miss Joyce saying, "Where do we get your book? Where can they find the book?"
Okay, you can find the book on Amazon. It's on many different platforms. You can also go to Dr. Castillo, that Dr. C.A. Castillo that work. And when if you get the book on Dr. C.A. Castillo that work, I not only sign the book, give you a personal autograph, I also give you a special tool that you can use. Because for those who have read the book, they know that there's some surprise in there. At the end of every chapter, I challenge you. They call it call to action, right? So my goal is, by the time you finish reading the book, if you follow some of the call to action, then you do a reflection, a self-reflection, and say, like, you know what, man, I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. Right?
Mhm.
I've been able to go through and withstand some big beatdowns, but yet still I'm still here. So I kind of give you a surprise so that you can go ahead and I believe in journaling, so I'll leave that hint right there. I believe in journaling, so you can go ahead. But I have some interactive activity at the end of every chapter that kind of, if you do those activities, by the time you finish the book, the last chapter, my favorite chapter is chapter 10. And I'm not saying that because it's the last chapter, but I'm saying that because if you do get to the last chapter, I kind of give you something that you have hope to become, right? We're nothing without purpose. So I'll leave it at that.
That is beautiful. We're nothing without purpose. I read somewhere before, and I want to acknowledge Jetty Tab. She said truth, referring to something that you might have said or something I said. Brilliant approach to reach and heal the broadest audience. Salute. What else do we have? We have Jetty again. It's not on you or in you, it's you. And in reference to, I guess, you being that resilient person. Thank you for your comment. Who else do we have? Um, I guess Miss Joyce had asked where she could find the book. Very good. So moving on. Again, when we when I come on here, my intention is to make these interviews very interactive. I want to ask those of you out there, hey, pick up the phone and call. You have a question. I will put the number on the screen. You can, just call and voice your opinion, share your thoughts. If you have a scripture you want to share, if you have a quote you want to share, and I must add that this segment is universal. It's not Christian, it's not Rastafarian, it's not Islam, it's universal. It's love. All right. There's a little bit, or there will be a little bit of something for everybody. As human beings, we're different in any way, in every way, in many ways, right? And at the same time, we're so similar in many ways as well. So we want to appreciate everything that we come with. We want to take the good out of anything that we could take the good out of. What do we say, Dr. Charles?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can always look at something and take either look at it as half the glass being half full or the
Yeah,
glass being half empty, right? It's a perspective
absolutely.
thing. So, depending on your perspective, like you and I could be looking at the same thing, but we see totally different things. But we also have to understand, and I definitely will want to, I cannot leave here without highlighting the cultural aspect of who we are, right? We can be looking at the same thing, but you have glasses on, I have glasses on. So the lens that we look at things is different because of where we come from. So when we talk about resilience, it's also influenced by where we came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the good thing
Mm-hmm.
about resilience is not only that it's influenced from where we came from, but we could get to choose, we get the choice of where we're going to go. So if we came from a place that didn't promote resilience, there's a point in our life where we can say, you know what, I didn't learn that there, but I learned it here.
Yeah.
Moving forward, I will be resilient. Resilience is a choice, right? It's a
Hmm.
choice. It's not something that says I'm here is resilient and everybody is. Yes, everybody has it in them, but it's a choice to how resilient you are and whether the things that happen to you, you let it hold you down and hold you back, or you decide to let it go and be free as a bird. I always talk about a butterfly, right? Butterflies are beautiful, but a lot of people don't realize that a caterpillar will eventually become a butterfly, right? And sometimes we got
Mm-hmm.
to go through the caterpillar phase to prepare us for the butterfly phase. And so if we just focus on, oh, caterpillar is ugly, it has these legs and stuff like that, right? If we only focus on that, then sometimes we miss what can be when we look at a butterfly. And I want you to know that, you may be a caterpillar today, but you can be a butterfly tomorrow, which is the beauty of what
You,
life can offer us.
that's beautiful. And I want to add to that, Bright Shine Poultry. Thank you, Obafo TV, for all you do. Blessings, my brother. I thank you as well, brother, sister. Your name doesn't indicate your gender, so I humbly apologize if you're a male or female. Um, Miss Joyce, giving thanks. Jetty, I think she added the link to your book in the comments. Thank you, Jetty. I want to comment on what you just said because it's very important. I did a study a while back about the butterfly. Um, a caterpillar to a butterfly, actually. It's a beautiful phase because spiritually speaking, um, the way I look at that, right? The way a caterpillar behaves when it is evolving, right? When it is growing, the caterpillar crawls in the dirt slowly, crawls in all type of mess, and it moves very, very slow. It's like every section of its body struggling to take it where it wants to go. Now, that caterpillar, after a while, just as you've mentioned, Dr. Charles, eventually transforms
Mhm.
into a butterfly.
Mhm.
And now the butterfly, from a caterpillar to a butterfly, looks so beautiful. You have some really beautiful butterfly, right? I did a study on this a while back. I'm smiling because it's coming back to me, right? Um, it says here, when the caterpillar transforms into a butterfly, you see this beautiful color. And not only that, but the caterpillar will no longer be struggling in the dirt again, but can reach higher heights. But what is important about that in my studies, in my research, is that even after this caterpillar has evolved into this butterfly, this beautiful butterfly, her wings or his wings, when he or she flies, it is still unsteady. It's not like a bird that soars into the sky. It's not like an eagle that soars all the way and go high. It's very, very steady, but yet still it is no longer a caterpillar. So I just wanted to share that as an analogy, or actually as an analogy as to how we evolve, how we grow. Sometimes, like a caterpillar, we go through the dirt, we go through the mud, we go through all the craziness we have to endure and deal with.
Mhm.
And all that struggle that we go through um, just transforms us into the beautiful person that we are today. Now we can give advice. Now we can give suggestion. Now we can say, I think you're going the wrong way. But Dr. Charles, thank you so much for that. I want to go to the comment real quick and then I'll come back to you. Miss Joyce
Mhm.
said, I like the whole butterfly experience. That is, yeah, I love it too. Jetty, you said, right. Um, yeah, man. Let's see. Yes. So thank you for that analogy. Again, for those of you who want to participate, if you have any question for Dr. Charles, if you have any question for me, um, if you have a contribution, a quote, a passage, a scripture passage you want to share about having a resilient mind, I welcome you. I will put a WhatsApp number on the screen in case any of you might want to dial in and join the conversation. Dr. Charles, back to you.
Mhm.
Before I ask you another question, I'd like your final feedback on closing off from just giving this analogy from a caterpillar to a butterfly.
Yes, definitely. And you mentioned the word that I tend to be a therapist, so I write certain words down because to look at patterns and things. But what you mentioned is transformation. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
We're transforming every day, right? We're
Absolutely.
transforming from the experiences that we've been through. Now we have a
Mm-hmm.
choice. We can use that to be a negative thing and be negative, or we can choose to be a positive person. We all go through things, whether it's in our marriage, Lord knows I've been through things in my marriage, right? Whether it's as a son, as a parent, as a student. The goal is again understanding that transformation can turn into a beautiful thing if you give it the opportunity to turn it into a beautiful thing. And the last thing I like to think, I like using analogies. I think you probably get that by now, right? It's the same thing like diamonds in the rough, right? A lot of people every day walk by diamond and they do not understand that that's what they did because they do not know what diamond is in its rarest form, right?
Mm-hmm.
What makes
Mm-hmm.
diamond what a diamond becomes is pressure, right? And we all go through pressure, right? So in my book, I talk about pressure bursting pipes or pressure being used to make diamond. We all go through things. Let's learn
Absolutely.
to use that pressure and become resilient to become that diamond instead of focusing on the pipe that's being burst. Mhm.
Amazing. That's lovely. I want to go to the comment again. We have Barbara Marie. She said here, looking at the butterfly analogy, we sometimes forget that transformation is not always a comfortable process. My goodness, indeed. Amen to that. But the outcome is worth it. Peace. Shalom, my dear sister, my dear sister. You've been a stranger. I have to call you out. um, Beautiful. That Bob, Reverend Barbara Marie, thank you for that. You know, again, this is what it's about. This is what 4 p.m. every Sunday evening is about. It's where you contribute to this conversation, you inspire, you motivate, where we all come together and just motivate each other. And while I'm at it, we have Monday, tomorrow, this show that is called Iron Sharpens Iron. All right. While that has to do with inspiration and motivation as well, we are going to dig deep into work ethics. We're going to dig deep into business ideas, showcasing different locally owned businesses, our young entrepreneurs. So look out for that every Monday. And then on Wednesday, we have Dangriga Unmuted, and we do it all over again with Soul Fuel at 4 p.m. on Sunday evening. Dr. Charles, this is going good. Thank you all. Thank each and every one of you who've been commenting. I have the number on the screen if you guys want to call via WhatsApp. The number is 949-682-5629. You can definitely call in via WhatsApp and would be very, very happy to hear from you. Join in, add to the conversation. Now, let's go back to the nuts and bolts of a resilient mind, Dr. Charles. We have so many people out here listening at the moment, tuned in. And what is it about this resilient mind? I'm going back again. This might sound like a scratch record, but it's one thing to say this and say that. It's one thing to give advice and say, let's just practice having a resilient mind. And it's another thing to indeed having a resilient mind. So give us some tools, give us some tricks, give us some ideas as to how we could maintain this resilient mind.
Okay, I appreciate that question. And the first thing I think of before you can have a resilient mind, I think you need to understand what resilient and resiliency is, right? And so once you understand what it is, and probably even more important, what it is not, right? That's when you can take it to the next level. All right. So know the definition, not the definition that you think it is, right? But know the definition of what it actually is. And only through knowing the definition of what resilience is can you then like be resilient. So in order to be resilient, like you have to tell yourself, I'm not going to give up. I mean, last week when we couldn't get on, I told you, I believe I coined the phrase, I don't know, like persistence beat resistance every time. And what does that mean? Persistence means that you're going to continue until you reach your goal. Guess what that is? It takes resilience for you to be persistent. Because for you to be persistent, you're gonna have resistance. You're gonna have things in your way. You're gonna have people in your way. You're gonna fall along the way, right? But you're not gonna let those falls keep you down. You're gonna find a way to get back up until you reach your goal. So to be resilient is to tell yourself, I am important. I am somebody. I love me. I have self compassion, right? Like I have self validation, right? I believe in, when I have this session when I say focus on yourself, not on others. And a lot of people who love to help people, like, how can I? That's selfish. But I hate to tell you, sometimes you need to be selfish in order to provide self care, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I challenge the audience out there to think about selfish this way. All right, if you're being selfish to become a better version of yourself, be selfish. If you're being selfish to get at somebody, maybe that's not what you want to do. All right, so these are things that you have to look at yourself in order to be resilient. You have to reflect: has this worked? No.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Has it worked? Yes. Why did it work? All right. I believe in creating. A carpenter has a toolkit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does the carpenter use the tools, all the tools in the bag?
Not
No.
all the time. Mm-hmm.
The carpenter uses the appropriate tool to do the appropriate job. That is what resilience is about. For you to be able to do things in this moment and use this tool to get through this moment. So yeah, to be resilient, to answer your question, read books, right? Talk to people. You know, I offer myself, right? I'm just a vessel, right? I've been
Mm-hmm.
blessed. My family and I've been blessed, right? If you want to reach out, get mentors. Be a mentor. That
Yeah.
promotes resilience, right? Volunteer. That promotes resiliency. And you volunteering might help somebody that's going through something that they need to get through in that moment to get to the next moment. So these are all the little things that I think that we can do. And guess what? I have not mentioned anything, I think, maybe other than buying a book, or you don't even have to buy a book. Go to the library, request a book, right? That it
Mm-hmm.
costs pretty much a lot of money for you to be able to do these things. And that promotes resiliency.
That is beautiful. I'm gonna put a flyer up on the screen because I want to give credit to a group of wonderful citizens, Belizeans, who are doing really good things in the south throughout Belize. As a matter of fact, there's a show in motion called Makobi, and I want to share this with you guys and ask you to support this initiative. Um, Let me blow this up some more. They were here yesterday, I believe. They were here yesterday in Dangriga. This is the 501BZ fourth annual fundraiser in collaboration with OCBD and and Junior Optimist 501PG. Um, They're doing a show. I think they will be in Belmopan. Let's go down here. I'm just kind of pulling this up as it comes to me. So Belize City was that's gone. 11th and 12th. We have September 13th, which was yesterday in Dangriga. 14th, Punta Gorda and Belmopan. So I want to ask you guys to step out. If you have any questions, there was a number here to call. I think it's at the top. Let me just pull that up. Where is it? Where is it? Or is it at the bottom? There should be a number somewhere to contact. Um, so I'm asking you guys to support this cause. If you want to get in touch, I will post it on this page. I have it on my Cyril Uruwei profile. But after I get more information, I will share it with you guys, right? And I will keep sharing this flyer for us to support each other, support these type of shows. Sometimes it's good to do something different. Okay, so back to Dr. Charlse having a resilient mind. I want to go to our our audience for a bit. Jetty, persistence beats resistance every time. Dr. Charlse, she's quoting you there. We have Barbara Marie. That is one of the things I love about the book about resilient mind. At the end of each chapter, there are exercises that allow you to reflect and develop self. Very good. Thank you, Barbara Marie. The Resistant Mind is an excellent read. Congrats, Doc. Not always free at this time. Oh, okay. That's for you abandoning me. Not always free at this time. Totally understandable. I understand you, my dear sister. Um, Folks, once again, this is Soul Fuel. My name is Cyril Uruwei. I'm with Dr. Charlse A. Castillo. He's a retired veteran. He's an author. He's the author of The Resilient Mind, which is the topic that we are talking about today. And I have to add that Dr. Charlse will be jumping on every now and again. I'll harass him and pull him out of his little space for him to join me on different topics that I might be sharing with you guys in the future. Now, it's now 4:55. I don't plan to. This show should last anywhere to 1 hour to hour and a half. So we're at the close to the hour mark. What is your word, your that thing you want to drive home, you want to encourage our audience with tonight, to as they leave, and for them to keep in mind to have a resilient mind? What is that one thing you want to drive home?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking that question. And if there's one thing that I would like to drive is to tell each and every one of your audience and our audience is that you are resilient. You have already been resilient. And you may need to reestablish your resilience because of where you are and how you've probably given up on certain things. But the fact that you've been resilient means that you can be resilient, you are resilient. So don't take what resilience means for granted, because the fact that you're here, I don't care who you are, you have been through things and you've gotten through those things. And how you've gotten through those things is through your resilient mind, right? And to emphasize again, culture plays a big part of our resilience. All right. I think so often, I mentioned this, we are so many people want to be divisive, right? Right. So divisive. But today in today's society, those who succeed collaborate, and that enhances resilience. Because it take your resilience and my resilience to come together so we can move forward. So I would like to share with each and everybody, collaborate with your brother and sister, right? You don't always have to agree. Don't get me wrong. I don't always agree with the people that I work with and I work for, but I try to find a common ground. Something that you wanted me to mention from last week, and I wrote it down, is complacency.
Mm-hmm.
Complacency is a hindrance to resilience. Not only complacency, but mediocrity. And so when people tell us certain things and people treat us a certain way for so long, sometimes we just say, "Oh, that's just the way it is." No, it is the way it is, but it doesn't have to be the way it is, right? And when you start accepting complacency and mediocrity as the end all be all, you give up on being resilient because you've given your power of resilience to somebody else. So I wanted to highlight that you are resilient. We are resilient. I am resilient. And if we give that up, because whether it's politics, and I don't like to talk about politics, but just in this example,
It's
politics,
okay. We
religion,
understand.
right? Right? When we give those things up, right? When we sell our votes, we're giving up our resiliency for next to nothing.
You know, that is so can you are you still hearing me?
Okay.
Good, good. Yeah, that is amazing. A passage came to my mind. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Um, I've always loved that passage because, just to kind of echo what you just said, Dr. Charles, oftentimes we go through things in life, right? And we keep repeating the same thing. We keep repeating this same, falling for the same weakness, falling into the same trap. And we expect that we're just gonna eventually get stronger, but that's not how it works.
Mm.
If we really want to be transformed, we must renew our minds. And that's one of the way, uh, a very, very important way as to how to maintain a resilient mind, to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Because if you are going through anything, any struggle in life, be it in your marriage, be it a financial situation. Like you said, resilience is, to me, right? My interpretation of it, it's not something that you just say, "Oh, I'm gonna be resilient," and it's that it's really where the rubber meets the road. I'm gonna keep on. It's the reminder to say that I have what it takes. It's a mixture of perseverance, it's a mixture of patience, it's a mixture of determination, um, that resilient spirit that you will not give up, right? So I love the way how you deliver the whole idea of being resilient. I hope that our audience out there benefit from this conversation. And for those of you who are tuned in, if you haven't shared this live just yet, please share with your friends and family. This is going to be a weekly thing every Sunday at 4 p.m. This evening, I have with me Dr. Charlse A. Castillo. He is a retired veteran. He is an author. Dr. Charlse is a licensed counselor. He's the author of The Resilient Mind. This is our first episode, so I want to congratulate those of you who stopped by this evening to join us, those of you who commented, who gave your feedback. And remember, this platform is for all of us. It's for all of us to inspire each other and motivate each other. Before I close off, before I give Dr. Charlse the opportunity to share his last words with you guys, I want to acknowledge you, Miss Joyce. We must teach people how we want to be treated. Very good. Boundaries are important. Thank you for that word, Miss Joyce. Jerry, we have to be careful not to mistake stubbornness for resilience. That's where the transformed mind comes into play. I agree with you. Lovely. Georgiana Mariano, love your explanation, Dr. Charles. Love it. Very good. Jetty says, wow, powerful message, brother. Excellent. Thank you again. Thank each and every one of you. I'll give Dr. Charles the opportunity to express his final parting words, and then we will come back. Well, I will come back and wrap up. Dr. Charles.
All right. Again, Brother Uruwei, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and just share my thoughts, right? And like I said at the beginning, I am no expert on you. You're the expert of you. So when it comes to resilience, right? I know what I've been through. I know what I'm going through. But just like I know what I'm going through and you know what you're going through, right? You're the expert of you. And so our resilience have already been installed in us because of our ancestors, right? Our ancestors have paved the way. Think of it of our ancestors, no matter what culture you come from, being that butterfly, right? Being that caterpillar, and you're the butterfly. But then now you're going to create a caterpillar. Like, think of it. What caterpillar would you like to create that will eventually be a butterfly, right? And so that's what resilience is. It's like we don't have to do it all. We just have to do a little bit and pass the baton to the next generation. The next generation is our future, is our hope. If we don't do right by them, if we don't teach them to be resilient, they may not be here in order to do what we need them to do once our time is gone. So thank you very much. I mean, if you want to learn more about resilience, please reach out to me. I have many different platforms. I love to share and I love to teach. And again, I really appreciate the opportunity you've given me to just share my thought. I don't consider myself an expert, right? Not because of my education and the doctorate and all this stuff. I consider myself an expert just like I consider each and every one of y'all an expert because of the experience that I've been through, just like the experience that you've been through. And don't forget that.
Amazing. Dr. Charles, thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you. Folks, you will be seeing more of Dr. Charles again as we progress in this journey together. Thank you, Dr. Charles. We will be in touch. I hope that you guys out there enjoyed my brother, my friend, Dr. Charlse A. Castillo. Again, we go live every Sunday at 4 p.m. I hope that you could join me again next week at 4 p.m. Sunday. Thank you all again. For those of you looking out for tomorrow on Iron Sharpens Iron, every Monday, we're going to talk about how we can build, how we can grow, how we can work on work ethics, how we can be more professional, highlighting local products, all that good stuff. So stay connected. And then we have Dangriga Unmuted every Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, the 17th, I will have none other than attorney at law Dickie Bradley. Dickie Bradley and I will be. We're gonna have the hard talk with Dickie Bradley on Wednesday, the 17th. Friends, family, thank you all again for joining. And I guess I drowned my voice. Thank you all for joining. See you tomorrow. See you Wednesday. See you next week. Aba Isien. Inebese. Respect.